Hello again. This is Ed Cawthorn at Manchester Community College, and I'm going to start my Bolero again so that I can time this thing so I don't screw it up. And we're going to finish this up with, I think this is video number 4. It might be video number 3. I don't know. I've lost track. Sometimes I do that, but we'll say it's video 4. Of how I do things in Python. I don't believe I know what happened with the screen, but, you know, sometimes screwy things happen in the land of community college. I don't know why screwy things happen, but they do. So let's go back to my code. Let's go to my program, which we'll put over here, and I will explain it. Come on, baby, move. Boy, you know, there are days I could go home and kick the dog and feel better. But unfortunately, my dog bites. So kicking him is very frustrating. And we'll have a utilities folder. And there's my utilities folder. And I'm going to open up one more folder just to show you some of the versatility associated with Python, just so everybody can get a feel for things. When we left off right in here, right in this area. And we were talking about writing a record and printing it out. Well, that's pretty neato, keen, swift, cool, and groovy that you can do that. But one of the problems you have when you do something like that is you lose continuity between the spreadsheet and the program. And here's the continuity I'm talking about. If you take a look at the spreadsheet's first row is year, log-on ID, team ID, franchise ID, division, and so on and so forth. Well, that's fine. That's how it's known there. In Python land, it's known as a particular address, 1. Let's say 1. And I'm going to have to comment this out. I've made a mistake. I'm getting ahead of myself here, which is particularly bad for me. And let's say we want to go out to the record and we just want to pull the teams out. Then I have to know exactly where everything falls in my Excel spreadsheet. And in this particular case, the teams are, this is 0, 1, 2. So the teams are 2. So let's see if we can do that. Print 2. And then I'll make a break point here, a stop point input. And we'll try and run it and see if we get the results we want. If we don't get the results we want, well, what the heck? We can always redo it. There it is. There are the results we want. That prints out the teams. And that's fine for 99.9% of the time. You can always go out there and go to a field, number your fields, and know that you're going to grab your field and bring it in. And that's okay. But a lot of times you may want more than just one piece of information, and you'll end up getting confused with the numbers and everything. So you've got to build yourself some kind of a process that's going to manage this for you. And what I did, and I've done this 100 times before, is I made a Python file in my Python program, and I called that file make headers. And what that does is that coordinates the headers with the numbers. So I don't have to worry about grabbing the wrong column because I've got a file make headers. And this is what make headers looks like. I simply pass it a value, and it returns to me an index or a row number. And that's what I've done here. I've made my headers, and I return my row number. Now, I do have to know what particular item I'm looking for. So we'll look for year ID. We'll make that value 1, and we'll make value 1 equal to H header. And instead of year ID, we'll look at team ID. And we'll go down here to the record, and we will print out record value, or the record year ID, and then we'll print out a space. We'll put a couple of spaces in there just to keep them separate. Then we'll print out the record value 1. And that'll be the team ID. So let's run this. I forgot to save it. Always remember save. Save. Save a lot. I know I forgot to save it because it's not printing out what I wanted it to. And it's still not printing out what I wanted it to. What did I do wrong? Let's let it print out all the teams first, and then we'll see if I've spit a... let's not let it print out all the teams first. Let's go back here. See this? I don't want to print this anymore. So I'm just going to comment this out. And a quick down and dirty and easy way to comment something out is 3 dashes. Notice that 3 dashes killed them off. So I've got my record O, or record 0, and I print it out. And then I've got these. So let's see, this should work. Be a whole lot easier to sit there and do it. There's my O. My team, my year, 1871, was the Boston Red Stockings. And you go down. And you can pick and choose items based on your columns in your Excel spreadsheet. And that brings continuity between your columns in your Excel spreadsheet and the data you're extracting. You can actually rearrange the data very successfully in this particular fashion by simply doing something different. And for those of you who don't believe this header file is being generated on the fly, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to open up my folder, and I'm going to delete my header file. Then I'm going to run it again. Now, I hope this works. If it doesn't work, I'm making an awful fool of myself. But it won't be the first time. Notice, my header file has now been recreated. A lot of times in my utilities, I will have something out there that does a coordination like this for me, so that I'm not really worried about it. I don't know that all this is so easy. I do know it shows some of the versatility associated with Python, because if you really sit down and think about it, being able to create a Python file in stream, write the Python file out to another Python file, and then import that Python file into your process, like I've done here. is exceptionally handy, because what that does for you is it adds versatility. It can also cause you a great deal of headaches. If you use a utility like CodeWriter and you go to write it out like that, it won't necessarily take your carriage return line feed. That's the biggest headache, is your carriage return line feed and all of this. You have to output this as if you would a Python command and dump it out and do a carriage return line feed. There are a lot of different ways of doing that. I've been known to sit there and just have a Python command handwritten out there, or written out there, and dumped it out as a file write. And this time I just put it together. I wouldn't recommend putting it together like this. I would recommend writing out your command first. I would not recommend doing it this way. I would recommend writing out your command and then using the replace verb on a string to just change the information from place to place to place to place. This took me by surprise because of the CodeWriter, which really sent me for a loop. But to a large extent, that's how I come up with that's how I can process a lot of different CSVs and keep it all straight in my head. I could have 10 different CSVs coming in with 10 different row headers, and I can still keep my row headers in my head. This ends this set of videos. I hope I haven't confused anybody too much. If I have, I'm terribly, terribly sorry. Feel free to write me. Write me obscene gestures. I don't care. Write me something that says, I'm lost and all alone here. I'm up against the wall. I'm banging my head till I'm bloody and bruised. But just write me and let me know what you're saying, what you're seeing, and what you're doing. And we can fix it. The ability to have Python write a smaller Python module that does your work for you is extremely important. Extremely important. It means you see something that Python has to offer that is really, really great. It's very rudimentary, but it is artificial intelligence. And with that, I shall let you go.